Okay, so to do now your drawing references, you can see that I've inserted one of those, and then also your section references, and I've inserted one of those as well. I'm actually going to give you blocks that you can use for that, but you need to understand that these blocks have been set up for a certain scale, and you'll need to manually change those to the scale that you're working with to make them work. And it shouldn't be that difficult as long as you understand scale. So here, this you can see is very large. They're both very large compared to what I've drawn because they're set up for 1 to 50. We need them to be 1 to 5. So I'll set them, well, firstly I'll show you how to insert them. So to get those blocks, you can go to Insert, More Options, and then Browse. And then on the P drive, and I'll copy this onto Moodle as well, this whole folder. In the interior design though, in the AutoCAD library folder, you'll see 2019 blocks. Now, that's Jenny and Stenny, you haven't put them there yet. Okay, so that's where they will be, but I haven't put them there yet. So I'm going to select these and show you that W block command again because it's a good thing. When you select any block, you can type W, enter, and then simply browse to where you want that to go. So that's in the right place. Save, OK, and that's done it. So I'll just select my other block, W, enter, browse just so that you can see where it's going. That's fine. OK, and now they're in the same folder. So if I go back to Insert, More Options, Browse, and then go to, again, that AutoCAD library folder, 2019 blocks, and you can see there are the 2 blocks, which are probably the same as the ones Tanya gave you last year. So this one here, the RefSec, you can see in the name, it tells you it's for 1 to 50. That's what the 50 means. So RefSec W, I don't know what the W means, but section at 1 to 50 is the important thing. And here, I'm not going to rotate it, so I'll keep it. Oh, no, sorry, I will actually. I'm going to tick that rotation specify on screen and insertion point specify on screen. And then the scale, I'll leave that unticked, but because I know that it's going to be for a different scale, I could potentially type in a scale factor here. I'm not, because I want to show you we can scale it afterwards if I've forgotten to do that. So I'm going to click OK. And it's telling me it's already been inserted, so do I want to redefine it? Yes, I'll redefine. And then I'm going to place it maybe just here, and we'll do a section that might in theory go through this other section just for something different. So I'm going to click there, and then using the cursor I can rotate my block, and then I'll click OK just to leave the default settings. So that's too big. So if this was set up for 1 to 50 and our detail is 1 to 5, what is the scale factor to convert it from 1 to 50 to 1 to 5? Yeah, exactly, 0.1. Yeah, spot on, or 110. Oh, okay, good. So, yes. Well, it's easy. When you think about scale factors, it is simply the denominator, the bottom number that you're dealing with. So it's 1 to 5, so the 5 is what we're dealing with, and then we're changing it from 1 to 50 to 1 to 5. So 5 is a tenth of 50. So when you select any block, you can just right-click and bring up Properties, and then over here you'll see it's got Scale X, Y, and Z. We're not doing 3D, so we don't need to worry about Scale Z. But if we type 0.1 in for Scale X, and then Scale Y, that will scale the whole thing to the correct scale. Yep. So at 1 to 5, it would be that size. And it might seem small, but when you compare that to the text, that is also set up for 1 to 5, you can see that it is the right size. No. So that's where, if you want that, now you probably won't need section references like that, but if you do need one, I'll show you how to make it. So, because you might need one. So I'll just copy this over to the side and then explode it. So I'm going to select that and then explode. And you can see then that it's got my text now converted to attributes. So I'm going to select the parts that are inside and then rotate those around the centre 90 degrees. Now the problem then is that if I make this into a block again, it's at the new scale, 1 to 5. So I want to make it the size for 1 to 50. Yeah, yeah. So just so it's consistent with the other block. And that's probably a good thing for you to see, because I did want you to try and make some of these blocks on your own. So I'm going to then use the scale tool, which is the other one I did want to show you. The scale tool, if you're not using it in AutoCAD, it's brilliant. So with the scale tool, I've got my thing selected, so I'm going to click there on the left. There's my base point. So it scales in that direction to the right. And then type in my scale factor. Anyone want to be brave and guess? Exactly, 10. Right, so I'm going to type 10, enter, and now everything is going to be 10 times bigger. And then I'll make that new set of scaled objects into my block by going to Create, up here, and then I'll go and click Select Objects. And to make life really easy, type P, enter, to select the previous. Yeah, so that's the great thing, previous. Yeah, so that's brilliant. When you've had a previous selection with a lot of objects, that can be a real time saver. Yeah. And that's it. So enter, and now I'll just click pick point to choose my base point and make that the centre again. And then give my new name. So that's going to be maybe, where is it? The same name again, which was ref sec W, and I'll put maybe R or something for rotated. And I'm going to click pick point again and just see that's better. It lost my base point somehow. And now here, this is something to watch out for. When you choose a name there from an existing block, it's going to replace all of your settings because it's going to use the settings from that block. So now, because I did that, I've got to go and choose my base point again and go and choose the objects again, because I lost all of that. So just go keep an eye on that. So I'll click Select Objects and again P, enter, and it will select them again. So that's all fine. OK. And I'm going to choose Delete, because I don't need to keep these objects. I'll just click OK now. And then to test it out, I can reinsert that new block. So there's my rotated one. And yeah, that gives me a chance to have it. Oh, now did I actually rotate those things? Was I being stupid there? So that would go this way, wouldn't it? I didn't rotate it, did I? That was genius. Okay, so let's go back. I forgot the most obvious thing, which was to rotate the objects. So I'm having a real moment today. So I'm thinking about other things, but was that rotated? That's not, I didn't rotate the text inside yet. Okay, so I wanted to rotate those first, so I'll just do that again. So again, these need to be rotated around the centre point, 90 degrees. So now I'll go and make the block again. So using, does that make sense? Oh yeah, sorry, I did rotate it then. Okay, so sorry, I'm being stupid. Okay, so yes, that's correct. So this one was rotated. So that one was the weird one. So this one's the one that's the wrong one. Yeah, that's the one that we started with, which was, yeah. So that's why it's confusing for me, because it was already rotated to the less normal direction. And this one was, yeah, the one that was fixed. So I'll just do it again. Okay, so block, and now again pick point, and of course I've chosen the name, so I've got to go and do that again, and then pick point and select objects, and this time I'll have to select my objects because I messed around and lost my selection. There we go. Okay, so now let's test it out, and I'll show you one extra thing then. So here, when I'm going to insert it, notice how it's not giving me a chance to change the options. So if I want to go and change the, say, the scale, you have to go to more options. That's all. So there's my new block there in the list. So instead of scaling it after I insert it, now I can type in just one scale factor because I've ticked uniform scale.
Yeah.
And then I'll just type 0.1. So there we are. So now it comes in the right size. Okay, so we've got our two section markers at different scales, different rotations, and at the correct scale. So I'll let you try the drawing reference. The drawing reference shouldn't be quite as complicated because you don't need to have that at different angles. So the drawing reference is this one here. So you will need that at different scales, but not at different angles. So again, when you go to more options, you can always type in that scale factor as you insert it. So say it was for 1 to 10. What do you think the scale factor would be? You can work this out, come on. So it was, okay, so from 1 to 50 to 1 to 5, it was 0.1. Yeah, so if we're going from 1 to 50 to 1 to 10, instead of 1 to 5. Yeah. Okay, so instead of going from 1 to 50 to 1 to 5, this time, just imagine we're going from 1 to 50 to 1 to 10. So what's 10 over 5? 0.2. That's right. 10 over 5. So what you need to, and you have to get comfortable doing this in your head, because when you're designing, you will need to do these calculations all the time, converting scales. So just think about it as a fraction.
So 10 is the new scale?
10 over 50. Yeah, that's right. So 10 is the new scale. Yeah. It was 50. So 10 over 50 is 1 over 5. Yeah. So 1/5. Yeah. And 1/5 of the decimal is 0.2. That's it. Yeah. The other way of thinking of it is that it was 1 to 10 before, and we want it to be double the size. So, yeah, and these things you will do, it's just something you learn by doing, and you'll be doing it all the time. So there's our drawing reference for 1 to 10. And then I realised, oh my God, that should be 1 to 5. No problem, I can always select it. And then in properties, change it to 0.1 over here. Or use the scale tool and then type in 0.5, which would make it end up as 0.1. So that should be the last complicated technical thing we need to look at. Everything else from now on is just going to be drawing lines and getting them set up on your pages at the right size, with the right notes. And I want to give you lots more notes and things like that, but I don't want to take away from John's because John's going to be giving you the ones you need, but I have got plenty. I'll just have to search for everything because I've got too much stuff to search through, but I'll give you some more details and things for the standard details that you might want. But again, John's going to give you the specific ones you need.